her stuff away and check out for the day. There's no time to waste when it's 100 degrees. Burns under my feet. Won't you have a drink with me? We head into town, see what it's about. Barely need a shirt, though the sun has almost set. Make the most of it. I know we will dance and sing.
Welcome to my kitchen. We're going to make the best breakfast that I can think of to exist. But first, I need to get some important information out of the way. It is already 2:30 and I only had chocolate chip cookies this far this morning and coffee, which is not my ideal situation. So it is time for me to introduce some nutrients into my daily diet. Second is my hair is so greasy, I hope you cannot see it, and that is because I'm about to do cardio later today, which I'll show in this video, but I don't want to wash my hair before I'm doing cardio because it will just get messy. The key component of making the best steak is to use a stainless steel pan. It's harder to work with, but it will get such a good result. I love this so much that I always bring it with me because I'm currently not at home. But I brought this pan with me in the car, which we always do it because usually when you rent apartments, they have stainless steel here. Okay, let's carry that for absolutely no reason. Usually they only have like really old pans that people don't really pay attention to, and then the Teflon layer is like all broken. So try not to use that, so we're using stainless steel instead. The pan is at a medium-high heat and we're going to wait for 2 minutes or so until it is fully hot. I just realized I don't have any seasoning, not even salt and pepper. And I think it's karma because yesterday in the supermarket I said that it was so expensive that salt was 8 euros. My dog steals my slipper, one sec. Anyways, I don't have it here. So now I'm eating steak and eggs with absolutely no seasoning. It's life, you know? It doesn't always go according to plan, but we just keep it moving. Maybe it's in here, by the way. No. Steak looks great, though. My steak is resting in aluminium foil after a couple of minutes on each side. This will help with drawing in all the flavors of the seasoning. And while this is happening, I am making the eggs in the same pan, and I also washed blueberries in the meantime. And here is the meal. So we have a steak, 2 eggs, half of an avocado, and then some blueberries. The trick is to grab your steak and then dip it in the egg yolk, which is already setting. And then you have the best bite. I do not care if you're fat, if you're skinny, if you want to be anything else or anything in between. I'm only convinced that anyone benefits from training and eating healthy. I've been 20% heavier than what I'm currently at. I've also been around 10% lighter than my current body weight, which is quite a lot for me because I'm quite small. I've learned that through gaining weight, through losing weight, that the best way to be in a deficit and to go on that fat loss journey is by still making sure that you keep a high protein and a high fat diet. Obviously personal preference, but the thing with eating protein and eating fats and not cutting everything out completely is that protein will help with maintaining as much muscle mass as you can when you're in a deficit trying to lose weight, and eating enough fats will help you with making sure your hormonal levels stay good, which again helps you with fat loss and with your hunger cues. The basic principle of being on a fat loss journey, which I call a journey for a reason, it's not a crash diet that you just go on for a week. It is a journey. You want to take things slow and controlled. But what you want to make sure is that you eat in a deficit. Eating in a deficit means that you eat less than what your body needs to maintain its current state, which is why you lose fat. And that is why I have breakfasts like the one you saw in this video. I try to eat the steak, the avocados, the fruits, the vegetables. I had butter with the steak. Just because that one meal might be bigger than what you would conventionally think of when you think of a fat loss breakfast, but it helps me to stay full, disregarding the chocolate chip cookies by the way, but it helps me to stay full until my next meal. It gives me energy that allows me to move my body. And if I still make sure that I have that deficit in a day or in a week, I'll still lose weight, but in a slow and controlled way, which is exactly what you want. And then for my cardio, while I'm on a fat loss journey, my cardio usually has two components. One thing that I want to preface is that cardio is a tool for fat loss, meaning that you can use it to burn extra calories to help you create that deficit. But more specifically, cardio is healthy. To me, any physical training that you do has its own benefits. There are things that you can only learn or build through the physical practice that you're doing. Strength training, hypertrophy training is to build muscle mass, which is essential if you want to grow old in a healthy way. It allows you to build your strength. But cardio teaches you things that muscle building workouts simply cannot teach you to the same extent. Cardio is there to build your cardiovascular health, to build your VO2 max. So even though cardio is a tool for fat loss, I also do cardio when I'm trying to gain weight or when I'm maintaining weight, just because it is so much bigger than just trying to achieve a dream physique. We're essentially training for longevity, to get older, healthy, to live a healthy life, and to feel at peace in your body. But my cardio usually has two components. First one, the daily steps. Daily steps are key. The reason why daily steps are key from my personal experience is because when you are in a deficit, you consume less calories, therefore you'll have less energy. What happens, at least what usually happened for me, is that I would find energy for my workouts. I would still, try to stick to the meals that I set out for myself. I would try to stick to the deficit, but unintentionally, I was moving less and less during the day because I had less energy. And then the result of that is that the deficit that you intended for yourself, let's say 300 calories a day, then only becomes 100 calories a day because you don't burn as much because you're not really moving besides going to the gym. So that's for me why a daily step goal really helps, because it just ensures that I have a solid foundation of expenditure, of activity. And I know now that if I pair that with my deficit, with my nutrition intake, that I'll get the results that I am working hard for. Now, obviously, to get steps in, you can walk. You can use cardio to walk on a treadmill. I have been going on easy runs and recovery runs. And what I usually do is I add those steps to my daily step. It's not my additional cardio, so to say, that I will speak about after this. But to me, the easy runs or the zone 1, 2 running, it's basically the running where you can still hold a conversation at. So for me, that's not necessarily so intense that I count them as my actual cardio sessions. I'll just use them to reach my daily steps. But that's personal preference. That's also based on how active you are used to be. It's something that you have to build up. So for me now it's relatively easy to do, so therefore I use those as my cardio sessions to increase my daily steps. But I still do my 2 additional cardio sessions every single week, or I try to make sure that I do 2, and those are my cardio sessions built to increase my heart rate significantly, to build my VO2 max, just to make sure that I really have a good cardio session in, which for me can be anything from doing my HIIT workouts at home, follow along ones. It can be Stairmaster sessions. It can be doing my long runs or my interval runs. It can be even walking on an incline on the treadmill, because that for me really gets my heart rate up when I walk fast enough. And it can also be going on the bike, for example. And I usually do 2 sessions of those a week when I start my fat loss journey. Now, I don't do these sessions on days that I actually train. Reason being is that those are pretty intense. They're pretty taxing for your system. So even though I still want to make sure that I do them for my cardiovascular benefits, I don't want to do them next to my actual workouts, because again, my energy intake is quite limited. So I need to make sure that I have enough energy to actually do my training and do my cardio, because otherwise I'm just running down too quickly. So if I can, but that's also because I do multiple training sessions a week. It obviously depends on your situation, but I like to do 2 sessions of those a week. If I can't, I'll try to fit in 1. So that's everything when it comes to my cardio. And then one thing left for me to talk about are abs. Abs are made in the kitchen. The reason why abs are made in the kitchen is because if you want to have visible abs, then that usually has more to do with your body fat percentage than actually training them. Because through training your abs, you'll get stronger abs, and you can also do hypertrophy work, which will help with making them pop more, and therefore they're more easily visible through a layer of fat. But it all comes down to the fat tissue that is actually covering your abs. Some people, they don't genetically store the fat on their abs, so it's easier for them to pop through or to be visible year round, which for me, that's the case. I store the fat on my legs, so for me, it's easier to have more visible abs. Some people, it's harder. Usually the main reason why you can't see them is because your body fat percentage is too high for your abs to pop through. Training them, however, can be done in a variety of ways. Some people say you don't have to actually isolate them, because you also train them when you're doing strength training, which is correct, but usually you don't train them through a range of motion, as in you're not really flexing your spine, you're mainly doing the isometric hold, which is fine too. It's all personal preference. I personally really enjoy training my abs because that also helps me then to engage them better during my lifts. So for abs, I usually tag them along with my cardio. So whenever I do the intense cardio sessions, I like to throw in abs at the end, and I just do a variety of exercises. Again, with abs, it's the same. You want to make sure that you progressively overload them, that you keep working harder on them consecutively every single week. So whether that be using more weights or doing them with more controlled form, less rest needed, stuff like that. But again, to get them to be visible, it mainly has to do with your body fat percentage. That was everything about my cardio, about my food, and about my abs and core. Hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye guys.